Well, it'll be more than 5 of us.
Yeah, I really do hope that it happens. I don't see where it's quite feasible on the individual's level to take the time and effort, time off work, effort to drive 8-9 hours. And remember, there's a return trip too. Assuming we
I
don't
know. I know. I drove there, drove back. I hit 3 other towns on the way back. So, I got plenty of video from, just touring towns.
I could probably get further out into rural Virginia in smaller towns. I'll bet they'll react more.
I'll meet up with you in some town in between if you want.
Lemmy, maybe if you get someone who emailed you, if somebody local could drum up some people. You don't need 1A people. Everybody's got a fucking camera anymore.
I've got people emailing me. Don't
but I mean, if they would come out that day with their cameras,
they will.
I see the logic in that, but I also see a downside. Let's take something like BLM, Black Lives Matter. The organizers are usually peaceful, law-abiding folk. However, when they gather crowds, including the crowds are people who aren't so educated and intelligent, and they cause problems. And then the whole organization gets pinned with, oh, look, there was a riot that broke out at that peaceful protest. And then
you're comparing BLM to First Amendment auditors is quite wrong.
I'm not saying that
BLM, the leaders and the founders of BLM are criminals that stole money and used it just for themselves to buy a bunch of freaking mansions and didn't help a single black life. BLM is garbage. 1A auditors are probably one of the best types of people out there.
Let me explain something to you. The starters of the movement, I don't know.
The starters of the movement are criminals, and everybody else is a criminal.
My church is not criminal. The leaders of my church are not criminal. Local churches all over the country start peaceful.
BLM is criminal. If your church promotes BLM, your church is criminal.
Bullshit. I have to call you out on your bullshit.
Goodbye.
There's nothing criminal about my church. There's nothing criminal about many local churches across the United States, which have hosted 96% of the BLM protests, which were peaceful. I know you rage quit, but I'm sorry, that's your problem. Did somebody in the early BLM movement have a criminal record? Perhaps. I don't know. I'm talking about the local events where they say, hey, we're going to protest peacefully and say that Black Lives Matter too, because most of America doesn't get that Black Lives Matter too. Go ahead and be that way if you want. But, I thought you could be an adult. I was wrong. And I wasn't equating BLM to First Amendment. I was saying when someone intends to be peaceful, organizes something, you gather people who aren't as educated on the subject and they get into trouble. And when they get in trouble, everybody involved is pinned with that trouble. Now, when you calm down, you can come back. Well, you can come back right now if you want. Or you could, you could show the audience that, yes, First Amendment auditors can be big crybabies too. If you want to represent that way, well, be that way. Okay, for anyone listening, 96% of BLM protests are peaceful. Most of them are started by local church, Christian churches, Unitarian churches, black churches, white churches, mostly liberal religion churches. By liberal religion, I mean they're not the far right-wing evangelicals. Okay? Yes, 4% of BLM gatherings turn out violent or criminal, but it's not the whole protest. It's people as bad actors in there. And some of that percentage are actually right-wing activists mixing in and causing that trouble. But if I'm sorry, Lemmy, you're misrepresenting your cause if that's how you're going to behave just because someone has a different opinion. First Amendment, right? We're going to have different opinions and we're going to share that. If you can't handle the other opinion, you don't really believe in the First Amendment the way you act like you do. Maybe you need to, take a deep breath, have another drink, and if you like, come back up. Okay, enough of that nonsense. I don't. Was I making my point clear? I'm not saying BLM is the same as the First Amendment audit. I'm saying when you gather a crowd, you run risks. That not everyone in that crowd is going to be educated, disciplined.
I knew what you were saying, and I just thought it was kind of weird for Lemmy to be talking about getting people together for a cause, and then to not want to carry on a conversation with you.
Yeah, exactly.